Hello and welcome to the Business ThorCast, Episode 0. I am your host, Joel Thor Neeb. My nickname is Thor, that's my call sign, and I got that because I spent 17 years as a United States Air Force fighter pilot and trainer pilot. I flew more than 2,600 missions, and after those missions concluded, I came here to a company called Afterburner, of which I'm now president, and I lead a team of other elite military professionals, fighter pilots, Navy SEALs, astronauts, Army Rangers, people that are used to working in complex, dynamic, high-stakes environments and helping others to succeed in those same environments. Because I know that's what you're facing right now too. I know today in your corporation, in your corporate life, the world and the market is moving faster than ever before. I know that you feel as if you're weighed down by task saturation. Too much to do without enough time, tools, or resources available to you. I wanted to start a podcast because I've had the same conversation over and over again with business leaders, CEOs and executives who say, we've got a strategy, but I don't see it connected to daily execution. Or people in middle management who say, I've got a team, but I don't quite know how to lead them through all the misaligned priorities and the 100 things that we could do as a team. And how do we wade through that and figure out the 3 things that we must do? One of my favorite phrases is a Japanese proverb that says that vision without action is daydream, and action without vision is nightmare. And I love this phrase because it's a good reminder that in order to really succeed, it requires 2 things. First, you've got to build inspired alignment. You have to build alignment towards that vision as a team. But it's not enough to have that vision. If we just build a vision and we never connect it to any activity, well, then that's just daydreaming. So we very quickly have to connect our inspired alignment to disciplined execution. Well, on the other side of that coin, if we have disciplined execution, if we have a cadence and execution rhythm that's working for us, but it's never really connected to a strategy or to a sense of purpose or a sense of why, that can be a nightmare, right? That's just busy for the sake of being busy. So we need to be able to create both of those things at the same time, inspired alignment and disciplined execution. Those are the 2 strongest pain points that we come to help out with at Afterburner. And then the last one is, how do I create the culture that's a learning organization, that's going to learn from its mistakes and stop repeating them, that's going to identify best practices and scale those throughout the rest of the team, throughout the rest of the organization? How do we create the new normal that just gets better and better every single day? I'm also going to introduce you to some incredible individuals that I have the privilege of spending time with. One of those individuals is Chris Gomez. He's on the Afterburner team as well. He's a U.S. Navy SEAL, and he put more than 200 SEALs through the training program that filters out the best to go on our most dangerous missions in our nation's history. We'll have a conversation with an actual astronaut, and we'll hear about the longest spacewalk in U.S. history, and he'll tell us the story of how he was petrified to walk out that door, but he was able to steel himself and use his training and use his team to be able to overcome that objective. We'll talk to Matt Brady. Matt Brady was the helicopter pilot for Operation Red Wings. You may not recognize it from that name, but I bet you've heard of Lone Survivor, the movie, the search for Marcus Luttrell, the Navy SEAL. Well, Matt Brady was the helicopter pilot in that scenario, and his commander was shot down, and Matt needed to step up after his commander had died and lead 120 men and women in the search for Marcus Luttrell as he evaded through enemy territory. Not just that, we're going to hear from some business leaders as well. We're going to talk to somebody who's in charge of a $2 billion vertical in the tech industry. He's going to tell us how the Internet of Things and how the tech transformation that's taking place right now is making the market move faster than it ever has before, which means that his team needs to be violently aligned towards the same common objectives as a group. And they need to be able to figure out from the 100 things that they could do or maybe even should do, what are the 3 things that they must do as a group, and how do they create a cadence and an execution rhythm to accomplish that? Well, why should you listen to me on all these topics? Well, for the first 17 years of my professional adult career, I spent that time as an Air Force fighter pilot and a trainer pilot. And when I was up in the sky, I was flying faster than the speed of sound, flying with 2, 3, sometimes 8 wingmen at a time. These are 24-year-old individuals, and I'm trying to keep them safe, trying to stop them from running into each other or running into that mountain inside the cloud. And oh, by the way, I've got 350 instruments in my cockpit. So I'm operating in an incredibly complex, dynamic, high-stakes environment. And I've got to distill that environment down to the critical few. I can't pay attention to 350 instruments. At best, my team and I can pay attention to 2 or 3 things. So those 2 or 3 things better be the right things for us to focus on. We're going to teach you how to identify and focus your teams on the critical few. How do you create an execution rhythm that leads to success? I'm looking forward to sharing these insights that I've gained from my military career, as well as my exposure to Fortune 100 CEOs, C-suites, individual contributors, people that work at every level within these organizations to achieve success. Because they're all trying to do the same thing. We're trying to navigate task saturation. We're trying to keep up with the rate of change. We're trying to operate in an increasingly complex, dynamic environment. And there are specific skills and tool sets that we can use to manage that. I look forward to sharing these and many more things with you on the Business ThorCast.